Terrence Turner with Maddness Entertainment. Company I founded years ago, doing video production, consulting, marketing, anything concerning media. That's what we do. Oh man, that was always kind of like my passion. There was no entertainment major going to college, but there's mass comm. And if you know anything about mass comm, I mean that's everything that's encompassed with entertainment. That's radio, TV, print at the time. Although they say print is a dying media, but it's still around.
It's just digital print now.
It's digital, I mean, and some people still receive the physical copies of things, but that was mainly the thing that swayed me. I actually had a partial engineering scholarship and I turned it down and majored in mass communication. And that's just always just been like just my passion was entertainment. Not necessarily having to perform, but just being in the midst of it. That was always just kind of like my thing. I don't think I could flourish just being a regular 9-to-5 person. I have to kind of do this. I mean, even just in my professional career, working in news, doing things with politics, all of it is creative. It's all art in a sense. So I mean, even though you have to get contracts and do business of that nature, but I mean, you're doing business for the purpose of doing the art. So it all kind of works together. But I mean, that's I enjoy getting up every day knowing that I'm going to go and create. I'm not going to sit in a cubicle. Nothing against anybody that has to sit in a cubicle. It's just that would drive me crazy. Nah, I can't do that. Even when I worked, in TV at a TV station, you have, the creative services department, promotion department. You have production, news. You have sales, and I'd always end up in a conversation with someone in sales, and it's like completely two different perspectives because they're talking about, I got to go out on a sales call, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm about to go edit a video and put some graphics and some sparkles in it, and so it's always different, but it's they work hand in hand, but I'd much rather stay on the creative side. Sidebar note: HBCUs are the real Wakanda. Well, I mean, think about it. Wakanda is a place where there's is this advanced black society basically, and I mean I think HBCUs breed that. I mean, if you go to an HBCU, it opens up a whole nother world to you. It's like you see. Especially growing up, if you don't go to a predominantly black school when you're in elementary school or middle school, even if it's just mixed, but to see where it's like full frontal, where you've got black presidents of universities, and people are you pick up so much there. It's so much culture there. I mean, just learning the history of how the school was created, whatever HBCU you go to. I think that happens in your freshman year where you have to learn the history of the university that you're attending. So, I mean, just knowing that and knowing that that's the start and that's the foundation of so much greatness that's happened in the world. And it all starts here. I mean, if you look at leaders from the past, they graduated from HBCUs. So that is, the reality of a Wakanda, if you will. That's just my 2 cents. Gremlins State University. That's okay. Right. I think every HBCU does that though. We all try to say it like it's distinctive, like it's and we all got a yard too. So, which that was kind of shocking for me because I came back saying I'm going to yard, and I heard other people saying I'm going on the yard. I'm like, no, that's something we say, but I think every HBCU does that. We just we're in our own world. With that, when I got to Gremlin, majored in mass comm, and Gremlin was like a special case because it had its own television station there, student-run television station, and most universities have that. It's kind of like a laboratory type of thing. But Gremlins not only broadcast on campus, it broadcast off campus as well. And a lot of people don't know that there's a town called Gremlin too. It's not just a university, but there's an actual town called Gremlin. well, yeah, it's just called Gremlins. That's the town. And the neighboring city is Ruston. But so Gremlin station actually broadcast in the town of Grambling and in the neighboring city of Ruston. The radio station is a 50,000 watt radio station, which is pretty powerful. KGRM 91.5. The newspaper circulated like all in the area, and you know, anyone who's been in North Louisiana, it's like, you know, a bunch of little small towns here and there. So you get a chance to really kind of cut your teeth with that. So when I was there, I wanted to take advantage of every facet of media. I noticed that it was kind of, I'm not gonna say, I don't think I want to say tribal, but it's like if you were with the newspaper, you just stuck with the newspaper. If you were at the radio station, you just stuck with the radio station. If you was at the TV station, you were just at the TV station.
That's that Wakandan feel.
Well, I wanted to do all of it. So like I literally, you know, I'd be at the TV station one day, and then the next day I'm at the radio station, the next day I'm at the newspaper. I didn't spend as much time at the paper, so I don't want to, you know, misconstrue that. Like, you know, I was just in there because they have people who are really in there who are really good writers. But I would do a, you know, contributing article every now and again. But I wanted to take advantage of that. One of the things I encountered when I first got there with the TV station was not functioning. They would be showing, you know, just syndicated programs, you know, that you can do on public access, but they weren't doing like original programming. And I'm like, you know, it's student run. We need to have like our own. So I know that there were meetings where, you know, where we would be discussing like, hey, you know, when are we gonna get a camera and go out there and really produce something? You know, like we don't want to just play reruns of Roots, because that's what they were doing. It was like playing like Roots and like older programs that they had produced from like years past. And I'm like, man, they produced this show and this show. Like they had like a video music show they produced. It was called Diamond's Video Showcase. It was a guy up there named Shadow. I don't know what Shadow is now, because he came before me, but I saw his work and I'm like, man, this is great. When are we gonna do this? You know, I'm, you know, coming in all fresh-eyed, and they're like, oh, well, you can't because, you know, the studio needs lighting and this, that, and third. So at the time when I was up there, BET had a show called Hits from the Street. I'm not sure if anyone is, you know, really familiar with that era of BET where they had these different programs. But he would, the guy that hosted it, he would just be like out. It was kind of like a man on the street type of thing. So I kind of emulated that because I said, well, I don't need a studio. The cameras work, right? Well, yeah, okay, well, give me the cameras, and we're going to go around campus, and we'd have like a question of the day, and I just like ask people that I would encounter. And that was the jumping off point where it's like it got more people interested now in the TV station, because everybody at the time when I got there, they were primarily just kind of, all the mass comm students were mainly focused on paper and radio. The TV station was kind of dead because they weren't doing anything. So I think that kind of jump started people's interest back into TV. And my mentality was, this is where it's at. Like when you graduate, you know, at the time, you know, radio is kind of, you know, radio is radio. But even back then they were saying, you know, print media is a dying media. So I'm like, you know, this is where, you know, everybody goes home. No one goes home and gets like an evening paper, or no one goes to their house and says, yeah, turn the radio on so I can know what's going on. You turn the TV on. And even with TV being more integrated with the internet now, it's all visual. So I'm like, why are we not focusing more on the visuals? So that's what got me more interested in that. And I think that's what kind of jump started and got more people interested. As more students got more interested in it, after that, they fixed the studio, because it was more pressure, because it was more voices. And, you know, we started doing more programming. So, I mean, not only did I have my show called On the Scene, it was the Man on the Street show that I referenced earlier, but I produced Music and More, which was a video music show. I directed Sports Talk, which was like, what's the sports show? They got so many now. But it was covering, you know, sports in the SWAC and everything. I directed that, and then other people came in. They created like they had like a cooking show. We had the evening news that we produced every day. So I would, you know, produce packages or direct something there as well too. But the more people came, the more we could actually produce and get more original programming and get more training. So that was the experience there. And then I did 2 shows at the radio station. Good Morning Gremlins, which was the morning show, and I had to interview like people like politicians, people running for office, and I split my time with that because they Keedron Dotson actually hosted for 2 days, and I hosted 2 days because I don't think it was a Friday show. But we would split that, and then I would also host the afternoon jazz program that came on.
So tell me more about Mad Game. It's entertainment.
Mad Game is a company that I founded, but I don't take all the credit for it because I always say it's a team effort. So I never just put myself out there like that because it can't exist without the help of others. But Mad Game specializes in video production, so we produce television programs, commercials. We've been fortunate enough to work with a couple of campaigns as well, doing things of that nature. Just anything you can encompass with media. We've gotten into doing closed captioning for not only programs we produce for other clients, programs we produce just for ourselves. We do podcast production. So pretty, I try to run the gambit when it comes to media, without stretching myself thin, if that's possible.
You gotta keep it balanced, for sure.
I have to, man.
What are like one of your favorite type of projects to work on?
Favorite type of project to work on? Something that is creative, something that's going to be of interest to an audience. So whether it's something that's thought-provoking or something that's just strictly for entertainment, or something that's going to really make you laugh, those are the projects that I really am passionate about. Producing things that make people see that, hey, the ground has shifted to where, before to get on TV or to produce your own content, you had to move to like LA or New York, which we were talking about that even before we started filming. And my biggest thing is I want to show that you can do it anywhere. You don't have, we produce programs and put them on TV because I always say that it adds an air of validity to the program, because right now with technology anyone can upload to YouTube or Vimeo or whatever format, whatever platform, whatever that you want to upload to. But it's not, the internet is not FCC regulated. Anybody can upload. So when we produce things, we always make sure that we put it online as well too, but we put it on TV to add that air of validity to it, to where it's like, I want our programs to kind of stand in the same realm that you would see anything else that comes on TV. Because if you look at like the news doesn't just come online, it comes on TV as well too. Mm-hmm. So I always say that adds that air of validity to it, and that's why we do it in that manner. Top 3? Well, okay, can I say like 2 established and 1 that people may not be familiar with? Okay. Not necessarily an influence, but favorite. Like I love their style. You got to say Spike Lee. And I love Tarantino's style. Those 2 stick out the most, I think, to me. Mm-hmm. Someone who I'm really a fan of their work now, and they're not as seasoned as those 2, is Ryan Coogler. But my favorite director right now that I've been really kind of like watching how she works and how she's developed, and a lot of people may not know who she is Kiera Augustus. Oh. I'm really like a fan of her work because I see like how she goes about doing things. So, You know, and I've said that before in person, so it's not like I'm doing it for like cap anything. But no, I'm really a fan of her work too.